So yeah, so the question of the person is in queda de quatro in front of you, someone is there on the floor, and what do you do? Well, the first approach will be to fake that you're going to queda de quatro, and then you would go, so you just move backwards. Now, as simple as this looks, it's teaching me something about the theatrical side of capoeira. It's telling me that I am copying we say opponent, but I'm copying my friend. I'm copying, but I'm also not really copying because I'm not going to the floor. And that's where it gets really, that's communication. When we're talking about what lines connect us, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. Now, of course, so far, let's stop for a moment. So far, we're not considering, especially because we're doing by ourselves, there's no one actually there. We're not considering, oh, what happens if as I do this, I get attacked? We're not considering this yet. But let me just say something about this that I think this is purely from experience. It maybe doesn't work for everybody, but it certainly works for me. When you communicate like this, when you do something that even if the person is not so conscious of what you're doing, but it resembles what they're doing, you sort of understand the plan because you mimic the behavior, and not only you mimic the behavior, but you do something else instead. 9 out of 10, it puts people off in attacking you. Now, of course, some people break that rule and then they understand that you understand, and it becomes like a snowball effect of cleverness. Nevertheless, a lot of times, how assertive, the way you communicate, here we go again, what lines connect us. The way I communicate this behavior can actually give you some leeway into the next movement. And this is why those who are very good at communicating things in the game, they seem sometimes to have the upper hand. They seem to be able to control the game. Of course they do. They actually control the game. They control the game because they are communicating, because they are understanding the other more, not because they are better or they have better technique, because they are communicating more. Okay, and then that's also not a trivial point, because if you can actually have the upper hand and control the game more, you can do that for the better of both of you. You can do that to enhance both players' game, not just so you are better or you look better. Does that make sense? So, yeah, so let's do that one more time, but now we're going to start to change that. So, we're doing our ginga. Let's say this situation, and someone goes to the floor. You can even do something more like this as well. This is pretty cool. Let's do that, which is almost like, oh, let me hold you. Oh, let me hold you. That's precisely what this means, even though it sounds a bit weird and abstract. But you're going, oh, okay, have you just gone to the floor? All right, well, I might go, but actually I'm not going to. So I'm now going to narrate what's happening here into the movement, okay? So someone is going to the floor. I don't know what to do. I don't want to go to the floor, but I behave in a theatrical way as if to say, have you just gone to the floor? Oh, I'll go to the floor. Oh no, I'm not going to actually. I'm going to stay up here. And then let's take this to the next level now. So let's go. Oh, are you going to the floor? Make sure it's here, not like that, because then you expose yourself. Make sure it's here. Then you go, oh, I'm going to the floor. There's something in front here still protecting. So I'm not just like that. Everything has a hidden message or a warning message. And then I'm going, oh, I'm not going to the floor. And then as I come back around, I give a slightly longer stare, like, are you still down there? Are you still down there? That's what this is, giving a slightly longer stare. Now, if the person is still down there, then you can bring the big guns. Then you can go flourishing, chamada. Okay, so let's do that one more time with the narrative, and then we're going to practice the physicality, okay? All right, so we're doing a ginga. Someone goes to queda de quatro, you're like, oh, okay, you behave straight away. This will depend of timing, of course. Then you go, oh, I might go to queda de quatro. Oh, no, I'm not. Then you give them a stare. And for the purpose of the exercise, actually point. do a point now, because it send our attention there. It's like, okay, you're still down there. All right, so if you're still down there, how can I get you up? I can't just go, come up. So I'll do a flourishing, quick flourishing, and then I'll call a chamada. Or maybe even a low chamada. Yeah, you can totally do that. Okay? All right. We faint here. We gave some time. And then as we open, it's like a little example of a rasteira. Open, lower the body, come back up. So this leg straight away, back, call. And maybe this call can just be a hint of what you want to have. And back into the game. So that theatrical moment of looking and waiting for the person will happen here. So we go feint the fall, and we go back. 1, 2, think like a kick here, and then just wait. And then here I can kind of unleash this energy here. 1, 2, 3, chamei. To engage. So the person is on the floor, queda de 4. And let's even paint the picture that maybe you did some flourishing here and still nothing happens. Now you've got these situations. How do I get to the floor? Okay, so now I'm going to give you a tip that works for me very well. 2 ways. 1, you will literally go to a queda de 4 like we did before on the floor, but I'm not going to do that because we've done it already. The other situation is to keep your arms in front and go to the floor in a cocorinha. Now, this is a little more risky because if you are near the person, of course, you are in that range of kicking, right? So you have to be really kind of timing hands, and you actually slow down. Now, here's an interesting trick. If you slow down, it plays paradoxically, it plays into the mind of the other. It doesn't always work. Of course, there's always someone else that's going to be more clever and will try something. But sophisticated capoeiristas, or capoeiristas that have been playing for a long time, they don't like to just hit an easy target. Let me just say that again. If I see that you are understanding and you are protecting, you're not just being silly, and you're slowing down, we don't like to just go, oh, I'm just going to hit you. It really doesn't work like that. Yes, there are some silly people that will just do that. But most good capoeiristas will just kind of embrace that. And guess what? Just this slowing down cocorinha may force me to engage something else. So let's think about that language. So we're doing the ginga, queda de 4 is there. Maybe we did a chamada, it didn't work. And then we really close and we slow down. But you can see my body's charged up with energy here. There is something about the communication here. I'm not just going, I slow, cocorinha. I'm like, yeah, here. Now here, change the story. Now we're down here, the person's in front of me. Now, the first thing I want to do is to turn my back to the person and obviously do a Habjahaya. Okay, let's look at that mechanic-wise. Let's do it together. We did a little chamada. That didn't work. I'm going to use my arms, and then I'm going to slow down, and then here place the hand. Now I'm moving backwards, don't move forward. Then you open yourself, then put your hand behind, and then we're going to do a Habjahaya. Now, of course, here, open up the situation that the person can kick you there. So we just have to be ready for this now. Let's not consider this for now. Just do a Habjahaya and go back. Let's assume the game, it's flowing now, and you're going back to your game. Okay? All right, so I'm going to do that one more time. Let's change perspective here. I did my chamada. It didn't quite work. I'm going to slow, very protected cocorinha, place my hand on the floor, and Habjahaya. The game restart. Now we're faced with one more situation. Just to cover the more theatrical side. Let's say we're on the floor, and for now, just sit down for now. I'm in queda de quatro, which would be like this, and the other one is in queda de quatro. That's another situation, that happens. Now, of course, what happens when something is really equal in a game? How many situations are there? Queda de quatro, both in negativa. You can think of anything. Both are in a bananeira, both are in handstand. All these situations, they go into a universe that is really interesting, because it becomes about, then timing becomes the absolutely master of everything. For example, bananeira is a great example of this, because if you're both in a handstand, perhaps one person can hold a bit longer or go to a headstand. Now that's certainly going to play to the effect of the game. Or maybe I don't want to hold longer because I've got something coming out of my handstand that will force it to come out. But all of those answers are now related to purely related to skill. If you can't hold a good handstand, you will be the first one to come down. So that's going to play to the other one's ability. Now, queda de quatro is not such a high, it's not a skill thing that we're, anyone can do a queda de quatro, but it plays with the timing of the next movement. Now, I would say, for communication purpose, if you're both in queda de quatro, not to rush. And I know this sounds so obvious and simple, but most people do. That's where you might even smile to the other. Yeah, you might smile, you might look, you might move a little bit side. Why rush? Why do you have to rush? Now, of course, if the person is not moving, then your next step, now this is from being queda de quatro both, what is your next step? Is not to kick them, and it's neither to move away, is to block them. That's the clever thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this here more. So let's say the person is here in queda de quatro and I'm here. So both are in queda de quatro. In fact, I'm going to take this to the next level by resembling. Look, that's more queda de quatro, I would say. There we go. Queda de quatro, queda de quatro. So I'm not going to just kick or even do something like this, but I'll do something like this. Look, I'll turn into a rolê and then I block. See, everything here resembles that I'm ready for an attack here. If that leg comes through here, my face is away from there. And I'm just blocking. Why? Because blocking, there's something, how interesting, something about blocking that makes you move away, right? If a door is shut, you're desperate trying to get out. If you are in a corner and you're being more claustrophobic, you're desperate trying to get out of that situation. So it's not always that someone needs to attack you. If someone sort of just stop you from moving, like, boom, you're desperate trying to get out of that. That's another important foundation of chamadas. That's why chamadas are so creepy sometimes, because I'm blocking you from moving. You are at my mercy as I move back and forward. So let's say we're here, and then we do a rolê, and we just, look, it's that simple. We just block. And if the person go the other way, we just do another blocking, changing. And maybe here, so we don't take things to, to a tense level, then we kick. So let's try that again. Let's try a double block and then a kick. So it goes 1, 2, and 3. Now, remember that the leg that is blocking is actually, if I'm going this way, look, this leg that comes out, like AU, that's the leg that is blocking, yeah? So we don't want to do that. We want to do this. It's much sharper. Much sharper. Then I'm changing side.